Welcome to Inland Stories from the Pacific Northwest, your place to learn about the interesting lives of interesting people of the Walla Walla Valley and beyond. If you want to learn more about the Walla Walla and the greater inland region of the Pacific Northwest, then this is right where you need to be. Here's your host, Jason Mulkin.
We are doing a special podcast episode of Inland Stories from the Pacific Northwest, and I am joined by Chris Novoselic from Nirvana. It's an honor to have you. So thank you.
Oh, I'm happy to be here, Jason, and hello, Walla Walla.
I just want to start off, what brings you to Walla Walla?
The Bonafide Band. We put a band together to have these political conventions to qualify a new party in Washington State. And the Cascade Party started about March of 2024. This year, we needed to collect signatures to qualify as a bona fide minor party, maybe major party someday in Washington State. And so I'm the chair of the party. I'm Chris Novoselic. I'm the chair of the Cascade Party of Washington. And what were my resources? What are my resources to pull people into these political conventions? And so I'll use music and I'll put a band together. Now, it's not easy putting a band together. You got to find musicians, you got to get the material, you got to gel, and that all came together.
So have you ever been to Walla Walla before? And if so,
Yes.
What brought you into town last time?
Well, the first time I was in Walla Walla, the best I remember was 1984, and a Black Flag played here on this SST, touring SST show with like Swa and Tom Tricoli's dog. And so what Black Flag wanted to do was bring the music to the people. So they played a lot of shows and off the beaten path. So we drove from Aberdeen to Walla Walla just to see this show because they played in Seattle, but we knew it was going to be different and special if we saw them in Walla Walla.
Anything you remember from that show that stands out to you?
They were rough and tumble. They were like these LA punks with they were dangerous and there was a little bit of violence.
But of course.
It was an intense show. It was a good show. It was amazing. There weren't a lot of people there. It was like at a community center. It was amazing.
Someone had mentioned that you will be on the ticket to be the next president of the United States.
No, that's impossible.
Yes.
That's impossible. What we want to do is establish a new political party. And so the rules in the state of Washington require that you collect 1,000 valid signatures between May 4th and July 27th, which is today of a presidential year, and that that qualifies you for the presidential ballot. So if you get on the ballot, then you can have access to the same fundraising rules Republicans and Democrats have.
So you have this short window every 4 years to establish yourself.
It's like cicadas hatching.
Places around the state as part of the Cascade Party political convention. This is a convention.
But why now? I mean, I'm sure this has started, 4 years ago or even longer. But why now?
Okay, well, let's say next year there's another group of people that want to have a new political party, and so they pack some stadium somewhere and they establish themselves. Well, then they can't really have access to the same fundraising rules Republicans and Democrats have until they qualify for the ballot in 2028. So what we're doing with the Cascade Party is just we're demonstrating, not like demonstrating like holding up signs and bullhorns, but a demonstration of what the possibilities are for political association. in Washington in the 21st century. So we want to change the rules and have it's reasonable to have qualifications for fundraising and access to these rules, but the current rules are not reasonable.
Inland Stories from the Pacific Northwest is proudly sponsored by Visit Walla Walla, the destination marketing organization for the Walla Walla Valley. These stories from the heart of the Pacific Northwest have been written for years. It's about time they've been told.
Well, one of the planks of our platform is election reform and proportional representation. And so we have this idea called Top 2 Pro. So it's just like, it's similar to the top 2 elections we have right now. But the Pro stands for proportional, it's proportional representation. So it's a simple statutory change to our ballots. So we're proposing that voters, when you get your state House of Representative ballots, you get one vote to elect both seats. And why is that important? Because the top 2 vote getters get elected. So if you look at the map, the current map, well, there's a new map now because they redistricted like 13 new districts. There was this lawsuit, but that's getting appealed. That's a whole other story. But if you look at, say, the 2022 map, it's polarized. It's blue Pugetopolis and most everything else except for like maybe a speck here in Walla Walla and a speck in Spokane and a speck in Vancouver is blue. That's red. So urban, blue, rural, red. Okay. With Top 2 Pro, you would have the majority of districts would be purple. There would be a Republican and a Democrat and space for Cascade Party and independents. Okay. And so why is that important? Because people share representation. There's nowhere in our state constitution says that we need to have this position 1 and position 2 stuff. That was invented by Olympia in 1966. So what we're saying is, hey, you pay taxes, you're a voter, you're subject to the laws and rules of the land, you should have a fair shot at gaining representation. So then with the proportional representation, so if you're a rural Democrat and you're stuck in a Republican district forever, and go to King County, okay, there's Republicans there that they never get to elect anybody. And so that's something in common right there. The rural Democrat, the urban, suburban Republican, and people looking for something new. We're going to take this time is through our social media and like meetings, like some in-person meetings, is to build a party. People get to know each other, to express themselves, and we're going to craft a platform. We're going to craft our bylaws. We're going to start. People are going to start campaigning for office within the party, and then sometime in early 2025, we're going to have a convention and going to put it all together. We need to change the rules for how a minor party qualifies, or any party or political association qualifies as a minor party. And so it doesn't make sense to make a party run for president only in one state. So like Cascade Party, if we do get on the ballot and you see us on the ballot, that's only in one state. That's nonsense. It doesn't make any sense. We have some alternative plans we're going to start proposing because that's good policy. If you want to change the rules, you should propose some better rules. So we're doing that. And
that's great. So, and for us to follow along,
CascadeParty.org.
CascadeParty.org, and sign up for the social media platform, which is one more time,
You can just click on it. If you go to cascadeparty.org, you'll see the hub.
The hub. There it is.
The hub.
Well, we are sitting with Chris Novoselic from the Cascade Party and the Bonafide Band. They are playing in Walla Walla tonight at the Motor Co. It's going to be a killer show and a killer message, and can't wait to watch you on stage. So, Chris, thank you so much. Any final words?
Good night and God bless.
There it is. Well, we'll be on the lookout for the Cascade Party, and thank you again for joining Inland Stories from the Pacific Northwest.
You've just listened to an episode of Inland Stories from the Pacific Northwest. If you want to listen to more episodes or learn more about Inland Stories from the Pacific Northwest, then follow us on Facebook and head over to our webpage at jaymulkmedia.com/Inland Stories. That's JAYMULKMEDIA.com/Inland Stories. Thank you for listening and stay tuned for more.